Hi, welcome to day one of this week's devotions. When we were asked about doing further devotions, and we had a couple of weeks to choose from, I chose this week, March 8th, and didn't really think much of it until I went to mark it in my calendar and just very quickly realized that this is the day that our daughter Amy is to be the speaker at the Kiwanis Club of Mary, of which Roy and I are members. And she'll be meeting via Zoom, of course, like all of us. I wish she was here, but it will be through a Zoom meeting. Some of you will know Amy and will know that she serves as a missionary in a sense, working with refugees in Greece. And so when I picked up my calendar and started to write it in, and I realized that this week is sort of a memorable kind of week. And in the case of Amy, it was about a year ago that there was a lot of violence and unrest where she was working with refugees, and their group had to be, as well as other groups, but their group had to be airlifted out of there for their own safety. And it was quite a tense time for all of us. But then I also looked at my calendar and I thought, wow, that was a year ago that we were looking at the leading up to the time of COVID and the time that started. And so I had my 2020 calendar just right there on the table because I was transferring some information over. And I thought, yeah, a year ago, what were we doing when life seemed to be somewhat normal? And as I looked at it, I saw, okay, we had some dentist appointments. We had our cousins came through town. We went out for lunch together. We had some Lenten services planned that we were going to attend, some of the churches in town. The Officers Fellowship brunch was happening. It was the last meeting we've had since then. Roy went to Toronto. He took a GO train down and spent kind of a guy's weekend with our son Mark. They were with like 27,000 other people at Toronto FC game. We had been to Toronto a couple of weeks before to spend the weekend with Lisa in her apartment, and our daughter Lisa and Mark as well. And so, as I was looking at the calendar, another friend came in. We had lunch out. We were planning a number of things. We were going to go back to Lisa's apartment for Roy's birthday, and I looked at all these things, and so you, same as us, had things on your calendar. And then all of a sudden, things were starting to change. And this was about a year ago. And so I see, okay, this was planned. No, that was canceled. Oh, that was planned. That was postponed. Oh, that was changed. This happened. And then all of these things that were on the calendar were either canceled, postponed, or changed in some way, shape, or form. And usually when things are changed, it's postponed means it just happens later, canceled means it never happens. In a lot of these cases, hopefully postponed, but still, for another year. And so I was just thinking about all of these things that were scheduled and how life changed. And it was about a year ago, and how weird in many ways this year has been. As I was preparing this, on January 25th, there was this little paragraph, CTV News. It said on January 25th, 2020, Canadians were still living their lives like they always had, commuting to the office, visiting friends, dining out, hugging loved ones, vacationing. But the announcement that day, January 25th, of Canada's first COVID case set in a motion of events that would soon change everything, even 1 year later. It has been such a strange, strange year, and in some ways hard to believe that it's been a year. But God knows about all of the situations that we face. And every day, whether they were special events planned, whether it was everyday living, all of those things that were changed, postponed, canceled, changed, whatever happened to them, they were still sort of everyday living. Romans 12 and 1 in the Message translation of the Bible says this: Here's what I want you to do, God helping you. Take your everyday, ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. Embracing what God does for you is the best thing that you can do for Him. And I've often thought of this verse. I love it. And in fact, in a couple of my offices over the years, I've had this kind of tucked up somewhere written. And it says, here's what I want you to do, God helping you. Take your everyday, ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to working, walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. Further along, in Hebrews from the Message, it says this: God takes particular pleasure in acts of worship, a different kind of sacrifice that takes place in the kitchen and workplace and on the streets, our everyday, ordinary life. I don't know if you've possibly seen or heard of something called a gratitude jar. I I've always been a very grateful person and very thankful for everything that the Lord has done for me. And I saw this year and I thought, oh, why not? Let's do this. And it's simply a jar. I saw someone else had one that's like an open vase. But I grabbed a mason jar, and on the lid, because it was soon after Christmas too, I had some bits of Christmas paper left over. And this particular piece, just a little bit of foil, has the words love, peace, rejoice, believe, celebrate. And so I kind of tucked that on there and I put it on here. And I had a whole bunch of little pieces of paper, sort of leftover stuff. I thought, you know what, I'm going to use these. And so what we've been doing is I have this gratitude jar. It's there tucked up in the kitchen. And every day I try, and Roy's trying as well, to write down something that we're grateful for and thankful for. And again, I've never done it before like this, but some people have suggested that maybe New Year's Eve, that you open it. You put something in every day or every week or a couple times a day, whatever it might be. And then maybe New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, you go through them and see all the things that you are grateful for. I saw someone having this the other day, pardon me, and they did theirs from family day to family day. And they were going to open it then. And I thought, well, you know what, that's a really good idea because it has been such a difficult year in so many ways. Still lots of blessings, but, maybe it's time to focus a little bit more on the gratitude part. And so yeah, I'm doing that, and it's amazing how many pieces of paper you can get in there. Very simple thing, but it's there, and it's something that when we take those everyday, ordinary life days and say, what are we grateful for? I had, like, for example, I spent a few times on phone calls, business calls, and I was so grateful for people who were nice on the phone and who were helpful and helped me to understand what was going on and this kind of thing. And so I put down that grateful to have a nice comfortable bed to sleep in. Grateful for a chance to get out and buy some groceries today. Thankful for a car that we have to get around. Things like that that you may or may not think of, but just jotting them down and looking forward to opening this sometime, maybe around New Year's next year. And so whatever life looks like for you today, and for all of us, things that were canceled, postponed, certainly have changed since a year ago. We realize that God is still very much with us. He has not deserted us. He loves us, and He is there for us. And I pray that you will be blessed today. Take care.